They used what? Hare brains, hedgehog testicles, mouse skin, pigeons, eel oil buried in horse dung. I'm historian and author Claire Ridgway, and welcome to Tudor Medicine. This is the side of the past that we love to laugh at, to pull faces at, because surely people in the 16th century had no idea what they were doing, right? And this is where it's easy for us to misjudge the past, because when we read Tudor remedies, it's so tempting to focus on the ingredients, on what went into the bowl, on what was rubbed onto the skin, on what was swallowed, burned, buried, or applied. And some of these ingredients are startling. A teething baby might have its gums rubbed with the fresh brains of a hare. Bedwetting in children could be treated with powdered hedgehog testicles. Shingles might be treated with earthworms or pigeon dung. Chilblains, painful injuries caused by the cold, could be soothed with the hot skin of a mouse. Plague sores might be treated by plucking and salting a cockerel's bottom and applying it to the skin, or by cutting a live pigeon in two and laying it over the swelling. Deafness might be treated by sealing a grey eel with a white belly in a pot, burying it in a horse dung heap for 2 weeks, and then using the oil it became as eardrops. Some of these remedies were designed not to cure in our sense at all, but to draw the offending humour away from the afflicted part of the body. Downwards, outwards, anywhere but where it was doing harm. The pigeon placed on the feet, the poultice on the skin, the heat applied at a distance. These were attempts to move imbalance through the body and to restore harmony. To our modern ears, the remedies sound, well, grotesque, comic, even cruel. But if we stop at the ingredients, we miss what actually matters. Because what defines these remedies is not what they contain, it's what they represent. Each one is an attempt to do something in a world where illness could kill quickly and without mercy. A parent trying to ease their child's pain, a household trying to stop a wound from turning fatal, a neighbour reaching for any hope at all. And it's a world without any antibiotics, without anaesthetic, without reliable pain relief, and doing nothing was not an option. And I guess that these remedies had been passed down. Someone's baby had stopped crying after they'd used hare brains on its gums. Hot mouse skin had really soothed someone's chilblains. And perhaps people 400 or 500 years from now will think we're mad for using some of our medicines today. So yes, some of their remedies sound, well, downright crazy. But sometimes the Tudors were right. They washed wounds with wine because it cleaned, and wine does have mild antiseptic properties. They treated injuries with honey because it healed, and today we know that honey is antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral. It draws moisture from bacteria and creates an environment hostile to infection. They packed wounds with sphagnum moss because it absorbed blood and prevented infection. And modern research has shown that sphagnum has natural antibacterial properties. It is quite literally a natural wound dressing. And then there are the creatures that have become the symbols of medieval horror, leeches and maggots. But both are used in medicine today. Leeches remove congested blood from wounds. They secrete anticoagulants. They prevent clotting. They can act as temporary veins when fingers are reattached. Maggots clean wounds. They eat dead tissue. They leave healthy flesh untouched. They reduce infection and promote healing. Hospitals use maggot therapy today as a clinical treatment. What Tudor healers discovered through experience, modern medicine has confirmed through experiment. And the same is true of herbs. Feverfew was recommended for headaches, and people take it today for migraines. Willow bark was used for pain, and it contains salicin, the chemical ancestor of aspirin. Meadowsweet, used for headaches and inflammation, is now recognised for its pain-relieving and anti-inflammatory properties. Foxglove, dangerous if misused, was used in the past for various ailments. And in the 20th century, it was found to contain digitalis, a powerful treatment for certain heart conditions. These aren't lucky guesses. They're the legacy of centuries of observation, of people noticing what eased pain, what reduced swelling, what helped wounds heal. Knowledge passed from hand to hand, from garden to kitchen, from mother to daughter. They might not have understood why these remedies worked, but they knew that they did. And there's one remedy so extraordinary that it feels almost like a fable. In the 9th century, a text known as Bowles' Leech Book recorded a treatment for eye infections using garlic, onion or leek, wine and cow bile. For centuries, it was just another curious medieval recipe, until modern researchers recreated it and tested it. They found that it killed up to 90% of MRSA bacteria. A remedy over 1,000 years old, outperforming many modern treatments against one of our most dangerous infections. The healer who recorded that recipe didn't know what MRSA was, but he knew that this mixture healed eyes. They observed, they tested, they remembered, and this matters now more than ever because in our own time we're confronting the limits of modern medicine. Antibiotic resistance is rising, drugs we once relied upon are losing their power, and researchers are increasingly turning back to natural compounds, plants, microbes, substances once dismissed as old-fashioned. They're in search of new answers. In other words, we're beginning to do something very familiar. We're observing, we're testing, we're remembering. We are in our own way circling back. Not to the humours, not to astrology, but to the idea that the natural world contains remedies we've not yet fully understood. And that's why Tudor medicine deserves more than a laugh, because some of it actually makes sense. Our Tudor ancestors weren't foolish when it came to medicine. They were attentive, they were resourceful, they were experimental, and they were doing science in the only way available to them, with experience. And like us, they were people simply trying to keep one another alive. Thank you for joining me on this trip back to the past. Please do subscribe and hit that bell to make sure you never miss one of my videos. And to receive extras like resources linked to my videos, to take part in live streams, Zoom chats, and have a magazine, check out my channel memberships. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.